Hello everyone, we're going to do a Paint Calm in May picture today, and this one I've called the Bee Garden. My inspiration for this one is the Wild Watercolour, Connect to the Natural World Through the Art of Painting by Inga Buiva-Devici. So I'll put a link to that below, and you will see here is my kind of inspiration. I've already done this once in my sketchbook. You will see that it's not, I haven't even done my bee exactly the same. I've just used it for inspiration, really. So, but I've put my sketchbook picture up there in the top left-hand corner so that you can see it. I'm going to lose my face now. There we go. And I'm going to share with you my materials that I'm going to be using. I am going to be using my Red Clover Meadow handmade paints that I swatched and reviewed the other day that came in this lovely little bag. So those are the paints that I'm going to be using. I've got well, actually I'm probably going to need a different brush thinking about it. What shall we use? Because that one's a bit small. So we'll lose that one for the minute. I'll get out my Escoda brushes. So I've got, what have we got here? A size 10, a size 8 and a size 12. They are all round brushes. I've got this little dish here, little palette for if I want to mix things. I got this from Etsy. What else have I got? Oh, just my sponge here instead of a tissue, so that I'm trying to save the planet a little bit. So let me share with you. I've already decided the 6 colours that I will probably use for this painting, and I'm basically going to be using, let me just sort my sound out there we go. Hansa Yellow. This is called Pear Green and Pine Green, but you could choose two greens that you have, a yellow that you have. This is called Violet Brown. So I don't know, maybe even a Van Dyke Brown might do, or if you've got a maybe even a sepia. It's quite a dark brown there, that violet brown. It does have a sort of a hint of red to it. Then I've got Prussian blue. You could swap that for maybe indigo. And I've got brick red, which is very similar to like a burnt sienna. So you don't have to use the exact colours as me in any case. You could choose what colours you like. Obviously, to do our bee, we're going to need a red, and I haven't got a black on my palette. I'm going to make black with the blue and the brown, or as near as anyways. But you could use a black if you wanted to. I might use, let's get a fine liner just to do the little legs on the bee. I might use a fine liner for that. We will see. Okay, so I think we're ready to start. Now, on the reference picture, which is where I did it in my sketchbook, I didn't actually do a background because the paper is quite a creamy colour. I think today I would like to do a background, and I'm going to make it a very pale blue. So I am going to use a spray bottle whilst, let's just cover those up. That was quite handy, wasn't it? I'm going to use a spray bottle just to wet my paper. And then we'll just, oops, that paintbrush obviously had a bit of something on it, but we don't worry about these things, do we? We're painting calm. It doesn't matter. We work with what we have and just have some relaxing. Well, can you have relaxing fun? I think you can. Right, so there we go. We've got that there. And now I need my Prussian blue. And today I'm going to try so hard not to get my head in the shot. You must all be really fed up with me getting my head in the shot. Right, so I'm just going to really water this down and just give myself this very, very pale blue background. In fact, I might add a bit of yellow into it because we're going to have yellow in our bee by using the same colours for everything. It means everything's quite, you know, cohesive. I'm just going to do what I do best and hope that I don't make a mess on my new computer keyboard that my son bought me, because my old one, he said, looks so disgusting. It was so splattered with paint. Oh, and it was like, please don't make this one so messy, Mum. So I'm going to have to try. Right, okay. That I'm going to use as my background this time. So yet again, I'm not trying to copy what I did before. I'm using that as my reference. Right, I will pause for a moment. You won't hardly notice, but I'm going to dry this off. So you will need to let this dry before we move on. Okay, so that is now dry, and apologies, I forgot to tell you what I am using. I am using a Bockingford. This is a fat pad. It's A4 300 GSM, and it's rough watercolor paper. And where I've dried that, I think I might just need to stick a couple of clips on here as well. Right, let's get back in shot. Pop that kind of there. There we go. Actually, if I move over a bit, maybe we can get a bit more of that in. Right, so let us now start to build our garden. So I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush. That was my 12. I am now going to change to, let's just change to the 10. And I'm going to use, what colours shall I use? I'm going to use this darker green, which is the pine green. Notice I'm just putting it with the other green because that really doesn't matter. So I'm going to put that there. And because in the background we want things to be a little bit lighter, we'll have our pear green over here. Mix a bit of that ready. I think I also want some of this brick red. And we'll put you over there. And then I can maybe mix those, but actually let's get the yellow out as well and pop you in there. Right, okay, so I think I'm going to start with this green, and I'm just going to get some These are just kind of wavy, let's call them wavy lines. We can all do a wavy line. So they're nothing in particular. There we go, like so. So as you can see, much paler because they are in the distance. And then let's add, maybe let's just add some of this brick red, quite watered down. And we'll have maybe some kind of leaf shapes in the background here. I'm not quite sure what happened to that one. Let's just try and, there we go. It's quite a big one, but that's okay. That's a bit of a better shape. So yes, I'm just getting more of these really light colours in the background. And some of them I'm doing as leaves. I've not got my head in yet today. Wow! Okay. All right then. Let us try and start to add something a little bit more concentrated now. So we've got a little bit going on in the background. So let's start adding some flowery shapes. They're really just shapes if you look at them. They're not anything in particular. I'm not trying to make you know, real shapes at all, really. Let's just see if we can get something down. There we go. That'll do as a first one. First one's always the hardest. I think I'm going to add a bit of yellow to this and get more of a mustardy colour. And maybe what we will do is we will go up like that. And then maybe we'll get something that kind of dangles down. Maybe like so. I don't know, maybe a little bit like a bluebell shape, but not, because these aren't, we're not trying to make them real flowers at all. So you can just use whatever shapes you want. But we're putting slightly darker colours now, because we've done our ones that are in the background. There we go. So we've got that there now, and we're just going to keep gradually building this up. I think I want to put something, maybe a leaf coming out on that one. And maybe I want to get a little bit of colour in there. I'm not bothered if it's all going to smudge a bit. We're not trying to be perfect. Perfect doesn't make us feel calm. There, I think that's slightly better. Right, let's go for the quite dark green colour. And maybe we will get something coming up here. And maybe it's something like that, with some leaves coming off. Something like that. Oh, I quite like that one. That was quite good fun. And maybe we'll use the other green, quite concentrated. And what shall we put? We will put something kind of coming across here, I think. Yeah. And maybe that can be this kind of thing. Whatever that is. We don't know what it is. That's half the fun. We're just making our own things up as we go along. Okay, let's go with our brick red again, because we've only got a little bit of brick red there, and I think we need a bit more. So we'll have something coming down here, and I think actually why don't I just do little circles this time. Well, not exactly circles, but pom-poms. Anyway, there we go. We've got a few of them going on. Okay, going back to my lighter green, and I'm going to get something else going on down here now. What should we have? Maybe we'll have a few of them coming up in the middle here, and perhaps what should we do with those? Perhaps we will perhaps we'll make those kind of half circle shapes, and we'll add another colour in with them in a minute. So we've got those in there. Now I'm going to go with the, what colour should we go with? Should we go with yellow now? Yellow. Why don't we go with yellow? And I'm just going to add a bit of yellow in there. Like so. I'm not sure what flower they are, if they're a flower at all. Now I'm going to try and get some kind of yellow, get a bit more yellow in here, get some yellow leaves in here. And can you see this is kind of, well, you might not be able to see, some of it is running in to the other, but I'm really not that bothered. I'm going to go with my darker green again, which I think I probably need something coming up this side, like so. And what kind of shape shall we use this time? Maybe we'll have some of those ones. See, that looks quite good. I'm not sure how I did it, but we will try and do it again. Something along those lines. That's rather good. And maybe the leaves on this one are really thin and pointy. Now, the darker and bolder the colour is, the more it's going to jump to the front, just so that we know. Right, let's go with our brick red again. I don't think we've got enough of that. And we can have something, maybe come across here. And maybe we'll have some more of these things that are just kind of a bit like bluebells, but not. I'll make that a bit darker. And I'm not worried about going over the top of other things. Yeah, because we're just building it up all the time. Right, let's try mixing. What happens if I mix the darker green with the brick red? What colour do we get? We get more of a brown, but maybe if I add a bit of the yellow, I get kind of a, oh yes, there we go. We get, actually, let's add a bit more of the brick red. I'm not sure if you can, let me try and turn that. There we go. So I'm just trying to get a different shade in, basically. And I'm just gonna add a few more lines. Maybe we'll have, where should we put it? Let's go down this way, and maybe we'll have this kind of mustardy thing, and that can just be little round things again. There we go. Okay, we are building it up. Doesn't it look lovely? Are we allowed to say that about our own work? I think we should be able to say that about our own work. I think it's perfectly okay. Right, I want a darker one coming down here. And let's have some more of these things that have got two colours on them. Okay. Make that a little bit more pronounced. And let's put some of the lighter green coming out of those. I'm just doing little strokes coming out the top there. There we go. We need something across there, I think, a bit more, or no, I want people to come into the picture. Okay, so let's go with this darker green again, and maybe it's just a big leaf like so, and we could balance that with a fairly big leaf there. Yep. Right, do we need any more? Because I am going to get some pens out, some gold pens I think today, just because I feel like it. But I think next I want a little bit of splat. Oh, I mustn't get this on my keyboard. Oh, let me just, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to tilt like so. That's a little bit with my brick red. We can use a little bit of that lighter mustard colour. And let's take some of this yellow. And then I want some of the green. Whee! Okay. So, I think that's looking rather lovely. I'm going to dry this off and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Okay, that is pretty much dry. So I'm now going to get my bee in. So I'm going to use a smaller brush. I'm going to go down to an 8. So let's get our bee in. And for that I need to make a black. So I'm going to use the violet brown. Oh, actually I didn't use violet brown anywhere. We will correct that in a moment. Right, violet brown and Prussian blue. There we go. So violet brown and Prussian blue have, made this black basically. So I'm going to start by doing the little black bits of the bee basically. So let's start with a little, let's move down a bit actually. Let's get there. We're just going to do something like that kind of shape for the head. And then we've got, let's get a bit more paint. We've got a black bit here for where the body is. We've got another bit of it further down. And then we've got a bit more where the tail is, like so. So it's kind of gone round in a curve. Now we need to let that dry. And I realise I haven't used my violet brown anywhere else. So just because we need it all to tie in, I'm just going to add a little bit of detail to, these are the kind of mustardy coloured ones. So I've just added a little bit of detail in there for that. And I think I will also get a little bit in there with that one. So there we go. Where's my violet brown gone? There it is. And maybe we can just get, let's go over here and we can get a little violet brown leaf in there, and maybe one coming down there. And we could even give the center of that flower a little bit of violet brown, just so that, let's add some stripes to those. Just giving a few things a little bit more definition and using that violet brown. And then I'll just splat a bit of that as well. There we go. Just so that we are still using all those colours. Now that black has to dry before you do the yellow of the bee. I'm just going to dry that off. There we go. So now I'm going to get the yellow of the bee in. So we want a little bit of yellow there above the head. We need a bit in there and a bit there, and maybe just a tiny bit there. So we've kind of got our bee shape going on there. That yellow needs to dry before we can do the wings, but what we could do is get our little antennae in, or whatever they're called, and we need to get some legs in. So I'm going to kind of do these a bit knobbly, if you like so, and we'll have one coming down there, one that's kind of showing maybe from the back, and then we need one coming out of here, like so. We can put a little white dot for the eye of the bee, and we will do the wings in a moment. So yeah, hopefully I'll bring my bee up a bit closer so as you can kind of see what I've done there. Some of you might be thinking, why did I bother using that violet brown when I only used it to mix it to make the black? Why did I put it elsewhere? I guess, what do I call it? It's something like, I don't know whether this is correct or not, but I call it like the rule of three. So if you use a colour, you should really use it in three other different places, even if it's just a tiny bit of splatter or something. It just makes your whole painting very cohesive, and it pulls it all together, and then one colour doesn't stand out as if it doesn't belong almost. So by having a limited palette and mixing all your colours to get lots of variations, also pulls the whole painting together as well. Now, while my bee is drying, I am going to grab, I think I'm going to grab a gold pen. Let me see if I can find a gold pen. Can we find a gold pen? Is this one? Oh no, that's not gold at all. All right. Where are all my gold pens gone? Ah, maybe we've got one in my sender. Let me have a look. What's that one? Gold pen. Ta-da! Right. So this is a Uniball Signo gold pen, because I think gold, these are warm-ish colours. I mean, the yellow is quite bright and leans a bit towards a cold colour. I suppose I don't know. Anyway, it's a kind of warm-ish palette. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the gold and just keep playing a little bit and going over. So I've just put some kind of spirally bits there. I'm going to put some gold dots at the end of these. And I'm going to put a bit more detail in that leaf. And that one I'm just going to kind of draw inside of it. This one I'm going to do some kind of stamen things coming out of this one here, so it's got a little bit more interest. I'm going to add some gold into this one, like so. And I think I'm just going to do one more layer on the outside of this one, like that. What else can we do? Here we can draw that one round like that, and we can go over that one Maybe that one's just got one line. I'm going to do some more of the gold dots on these. You can just play. This is supposed to be calming. We want it to be fun and calming and no rights or wrongs. It doesn't matter. As long as we are enjoying what we're doing. I'm going to get some gold lines coming down. You could do with a bit more definition, like so, maybe. That needs something happening to it, so we will pop that there. We'll give a little line on that one and that one. How are we doing? I think we could also just do some gold dots, big ones, small ones, maybe even just some swirls. So let me just, hopefully you can see where I'm just adding this gold. Ooh, actually we don't need those on anymore anyway. What else? Let's just keep adding a few of these little circles or spirals. Perhaps we can have just a spiral thing coming down. Like so. Oh, quite like that on that side. And just a little bit on that one, not too much. We don't want to do too mad, do we? Although, to be honest, if we wanted to, that would be all right as well, wouldn't it? So let's get something in there. Right, I think our bee is probably dry enough. So let's see if we can have a go at doing some wings. I'm just going to use this black that I made up with the Prussian blue and the violet brown. I'm just going to use that really watered down, and I'm going to see if I can get a couple of kind of wings roughly placed in here. That's gone a bit too wide. Never mind. We're doing paint calm. So if that happens to you, not to worry, take your tissue and maybe just blot a little bit of that out, and then with a clean brush we can maybe just make it look as though those wings are flapping about. So that there's some movement going on there. I'm just kind of spreading it out basically, and I am scrubbing a little bit because I kind of got the wrong shape there, but that's fine because now if I bring that up you can kind of see they're wings but they're not, and it really doesn't matter. What we want is to kind of show that there's a little bit of movement. So I'm also going to take the black here and just splat that a little bit around the bee to show that he's moving about. Okay, do I like that bit? That bit's not looking so great. I'm going to add the gold there, I think. There we go. I'm nitpicking now. So let's bring that back in. I'm going to move my water out of the way. I'll move my paints out of the way. In fact, I'll move everything out of the way. I'm going to take the masking tape off. Ooh, it's so satisfying when we take the masking tape off, isn't it? Like so. Right, let's lose the reference picture now. And let me bring this up. And there we have our bee garden. And you don't really need any skills because they don't even have to look like real flowers. You can just do shapes and marks and just pick your colours and mix them all together, remembering to do the, you know, something a bit more faint or lighter in the background, and remembering that any more concentrated darker colours are going to jump out to the foreground. But oh, I didn't do the little eye on my bee. Okay, let's get a white out. This is a gel pen. Let's see if that's going to work. Yep, just enough. Okay, there we go. He's got a little eye there now. So I hope that you have a go at this. I am loving doing Paint Calm at the moment. I think it's just really relaxing and there's not a lot of pressure to it really. So I will see you again next time. I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay calm. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you can. It really helps to support my channel and I am forever grateful. So until next time, bye bye.